Thanks for joining me today as we talk about tires. While brakes are arguably the most important thing on a car to have working properly, because it's alright if you can go, but if you can't stop, you're in trouble. I think tires are a close second to brakes. Tires are what keep you on the road. If you have too much tire pressure in your tires, you're going to lose traction and you could suddenly break into a slide. If you don't have enough air in your tires, you hear that squealing sound, and that's basically your tires not gripping the road, they're slipping. Tires are a huge safety feature on your car. They're very important. If it starts to rain, the tread you have, if you're in the snow, all kinds of conditions make a big difference. And I'd like to see every one of you stay on the road. That'd be a good thing. So checking tire pressure is really important. When you check your tire pressure, you want to have the right amount. So you can get a tire gauge. Here's one style of tire gauge you can pick up. Those work great. I'll show you how that works. Here's another style of a tire gauge. This is a little bit more like what you'll see if you go to the gas station and use their pump. They'd have something like this on there. The pressure reading usually doesn't work on them. It comes out here. I'll show you that later too. So you should have your own tire pressure gauge. When you buy one, you know, they're pretty inexpensive, but don't get a real cheap one. You want one that's going to last and one that's going to be accurate. And if you get the cheapest thing out there, it's not a good thing. And since even the good ones aren't that expensive, you might want to do a little research and pick one that fits in your car somewhere and works for you. So let's check some tire pressure. So before you check your tire pressure, give them a good look. Take a look, check how deep your treads are. Pay attention to that so you will know when they get low it's time to replace them. The other thing you can do is look for a wear pattern. If you have more wear, less tread in the very center of the tire, then that means your tires have been overinflated. Too much pressure. If your tires have wear on both outside edges, right, then that means there's not enough air pressure in your tire and the tire has been sagging. If you have wear anywhere else, one side or the other, if you feel your tire, you run your hands across the treads and they don't feel smooth, you can feel like a lip on one edge, okay? Take it in and have it checked, have your front end checked. There's something going on there, and maybe it's just an alignment or you might have some bad parts in there. But pay attention to your tires, all that matters. Your tires tell you a lot about your front end, your suspension, your steering, and to a mechanic, he should know how to interpret all of that and be able to resolve any problems you might have. But always take a good look and see what's going on with your tires. Make sure they're nice and even. Speaking of even tires, you want to rotate your tires. You can never rotate your tires too much. You can do it every oil change if you want. Technically, you don't have to do it that often, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. Brakes, as I said earlier, they are the most important thing on your car. If they don't work, you are in real trouble. When they rotate the tires, they can really easily see the brakes and just make sure they're okay for you. Again, every oil change, it might be a little overkill, but again, you can't do too much. So once you've checked your tire, you think it's good, everything's all right, we're gonna wanna check the pressure. So here's where you'd take off your little cap. This is called a Schrader valve. And there's, just like on your bicycle or whatever, it's basically the same thing, a little Schrader valve right there. And on your tire, somewhere on here will be a PSI rating. So you're gonna want to check that and find that on the tire. If you're old like me, you might need your glasses and have to study it. I don't know why it's on the fine print, but it's in there. So that's super important on your tire. Every tire is different how much pressure is good for it. So let's check. So as we saw, tire pressure is 44 psi for this Jeep. Take our tires gauge, push it on the Schrader valve, and this little guy will pop out. On this guy's gauge, and you can see it's 35 right here. Pull it out a little bit, it's 40. So the tire pressures are 44, and we've currently got 40 pounds in here. Let's check it again just to be sure. Okay, we're sitting just under 40 psi. Let me see if I can show you this. So we're going to need to add some air pressure to this tire. Now I'm going to cheat a little bit because in my garage I put in an air compressor. So, but again, this is going to look a lot like what you're going to use when you get to a gas station. So you just hold this over the end, and on mine the little tire gauge, you can see, watch right there by my thumb, goes up and down, so I can watch the air pressure. And I'm just going to add air, holding it firmly on the Schrader valve. You don't want to, this little guy over here, you don't want to put a lot of angle pressure up. Keep it as straight as you can. Add a little bit of air. And there you have it, 44 psi. Mission complete. Now we'll put our cap back on. Check the other tires, and we're ready to go down the road. So the tire pressure in this Jeep is 44 psi. But if I put 200 pounds of pressure in that tire, it'd blow. It'd be ugly, ruin the tire, be awful. But if I didn't have enough pressure in that tire, as we talked about, the car could slide off the road and you could crash. Not a good thing either. The right amount of pressure is best for keeping this operating and driving down the road like it should. Same thing in life. We all want to avoid pressure. And horrible pressure is a bad thing. I get that. Nobody wants traumatic situations in their life and all that that can bring. But not enough pressure doesn't do you any good either. It's interesting. Think about it. If you have no worries, park yourself on the couch, have somebody bring you your meals, watch Netflix for 2 years. You're going to be a wreck. You're going to be spoiled for one. Your muscles are going to atrophy. You won't have any strength left in them because you've just had nothing to do, no pressure, no issues. So a little bit of pressure, the right amount of pressure, is actually good for you. Kind of like working out with weights. You work out with weights, you're tearing yourself down, then your body builds itself back up and it gets stronger. Same thing with a little bit of pressure in your life. It teaches you how to overcome, how to conquer, how to have a good attitude during rough times. It makes you a stronger and better person. So if you're going through some tough times, I'm really sorry, and I hope they're not horrendous times. But if there's a little bit of pressure in your life, don't fight it. Embrace it, learn how to overcome, and be a better person. A little bit of pressure is a good thing. All right, guys, until next time, have a good one. Please like and share this video with anybody who might need it. And love you guys. Talk to you soon.